Well, now that the elections are over, everyone's going to go back to being happy and we're going to be friends again, and there's going to be no hatred and no ill content out on social media ever again. Well, until the next primaries, or until, I guess, today. So we're going to be talking about that and a whole lot more today on the 306 podcast. So I realized that introduction was like 1,000 miles a second. So I just want to first apologize for speaking so fast. I'm trying to slow down a little bit in how I speak because I get so animated and so just like almost hyper trying to get words out that I just kind of get crazy. But welcome back to the 306 podcast. My name is Scott. I'm so glad that you stopped by. If this is your first time here, we're just trying to put together a little podcast here where we talk about just things that are happening in life, in your personal life and relationships and all that kind of fun stuff, and trying to figure out how to make the most of them, how we can improve our lives, and just enjoy this life that we have. It's short, and so we want to make sure that we're enjoying it. And so please consider subscribing if this is content that you enjoy. And if you're already a subscriber, I just want to thank you and ask that you comment down below ideas and things that you would love to see happening here at loveLocal. You can catch all of our content on loveLocalPA.com. So the elections are over. So all the political ads are going to be done. They're over. All of that money wasted because 98% of us already knew who we were going to vote for before we ever saw a commercial, because I would say probably 98% of the people just look for the R or the D beside someone's name and then decide that's who they're going to vote for, because why try to learn something about someone, right? So all of that's over, and we can finally go back to watching supplemental health care plan videos or TV spots, and we can go back to those unfunny infomercials. And while we listen to those commercials, we can start decorating for Christmas and listening to Christmas music. And everyone's just going to love each other. If only it were that easy. Number one, because I don't know when the right time to start decorating for Christmas is. You know, growing up, I can't even remember growing up when we started decorating for Christmas. I feel like it was right after Thanksgiving, but I can't remember. I know with my wife and kids, we decorate the day after Thanksgiving. So Black Friday, you know, if we go out and if we do Black Friday shopping, we'll come home, we'll have some snacks, you know, have some food, and then we just throw a movie in and we just start decorating and talking and, you know, all that kind of stuff. It's a lot of fun. But I did see some people are already starting to decorate for Christmas. My neighbors, I'm not sure if they have their Christmas tree up or if it's like a winter solstice tree. Not quite sure. But I think that it's a Christmas tree in their window. I'm not going to talk to them, you know, and we'll talk about that, I guess. But I've also seen some people that are listening to Christmas music. I can't get into Christmas music just yet. I love Christmas. I love the fact that people are typically a little bit happier going into Christmas, a little bit happier. But I'm just not ready for Christmas music. So comment down below. Have you started listening to Christmas music yet? Like, honestly, if you started listening to, are you in the holiday spirit yet? I'm just not there. I mean, I've seen some people pro decorating, pro Christmas right now, but then I saw something on Facebook, surprise, surprise, that said listening to Christmas music makes you depressed or something stupid like that. Here's the thing: you can find whatever you want on Facebook. It's like if you Google something, you can find anything. You can make anything true by searching on Facebook if you look hard enough. So with that, I was just scouring through some things, and we had dinner last night with some friends, and you know, as we were we were talking, kind of watching some of the exit polls and stuff like that, and I think I just had a thought where I said I would tend to believe that there are a lot of people, like I alluded to them only voting for the person depending on their political affiliation. But I think that kind of stems out of the fact that we don't know people anymore. Like we just assume a lot of things about people. We assume that they hold our values or whatever. And I actually came across an article. Let me. I exited out. But it's from Huffington Post, so obviously it's going to be probably stupid, but not. I shouldn't have said that, but it's going to be completely biased. And in the article by Paul Cantor, he titles his article, Why Talking to Your Neighbors is Just Awful. And he pretty much goes through this article and just says how his neighbors, like, they won't talk to him, so he's just not going to, like, why wouldn't they talk to him? He leads such an interesting life, but really he's just screwing around, making money on the internet. Like, so he's saying, like, he doesn't do anything extraordinary, but for whatever reason, his neighbors don't want to talk to them. And when he does talk to his neighbors, he wishes they wouldn't talk to his neighbor. Like, it's just such a pompous piece. And, like, I think it plays into the political scene, too. Like, we don't want to know people. For the vast majority of people, we are completely fine living in this online world, being connected to YouTube people or Instagram people whom 98% of the time we will never meet in our entire lives, and yet we consume their content like it is the literal gospel of Jesus. Like we take this stuff, we take these photos and graphics and videos, and we make them out to be our source of satisfaction or completeness. It's what makes us whole because it's what I want. It kind of makes my blood boil. But so I'm reading this article, and it just occurs to me that it's like I saw someone post something on Facebook yesterday. They said, I'm not going to vote because I don't know the candidates. Like, I don't know what they stand for. And of course, you get the people who say, dude, just like pull up their page and read what they're about and then go vote. Like it shouldn't take you 45 days to like figure out who you're going to vote for. Go to their page, see what they stand for, make a check internally, and then vote. But then you have the people on the other side that said, hey, you don't have to explain to people why you're not voting. Well, you felt the need to explain to people why they didn't have to explain to people why they weren't voting. So, like, I don't know. Personal opinion, vote. It doesn't take a whole lot to figure out what people stand for. And quite honestly, again, I've said this before, and I don't want it to come out the wrong way. If we're not taking the time to figure things out in our lives and live our lives out well, we can't really hold our politicians to the same standard. We can't say, oh, well, because you're an elected official, you need to have better values and morals than I do. No, everyone should be living by morals and values that, in my opinion, that our country was founded on. That's Judeo-Christian values. But so many people are like, oh, well, I can be a slob. I can not do anything. I don't have to be involved in government. That's why we vote for people. And that's not true, because we're the ones that need to be holding those people accountable and letting them know what our values and principles are. But that led me to another article. And it's titled, Why People Aren't Nice Anymore. And I just found this article to be kind of funny because it's so true. And the article is from thethingsiwishiKnew.com. It was written by, all right, I'm not going to be able to say this name, so I apologize, Hanifa Sikandi. And it's really good. It just talks about why we just aren't nice to people. And I agree with some of the points that the author here, and I'll be perfectly honest, I'm going to assume it's a girl, Hanifa, but I hate assuming things anymore, so I apologize. But what they talk about here is why people aren't nice anymore, and the number one reason is we've become so full of ourselves that we don't want to accept that there's other possibilities other than what we have created in our own head. Like we don't want to respect other people's opinions. Like we say, hey, everyone's entitled to their opinion, but I don't need to agree with that opinion, and if I don't agree with it, then I don't even need to acknowledge that it exists. And you see this a lot in the Huffington Post article, why talking to your neighbor is just awful. But it's so true. People say, oh, well, this is my opinion, and so I don't have to recognize that there's other opinions. Even though my opinion is not right or may not be right or may change, I don't need to recognize other people's opinions as anything other than nothing, essentially. And we think that we deserve to have the life that we want. If I can dream it, I should have it. I'm entitled to it because I want it. And anymore, and I shouldn't have to work all that hard for it. You know, I should be able by the time I'm 30 to be a multimillionaire and be able to retire and have nice cars and a nice house and the perfect white picket fence and all that stuff. And no one deserves that. No one. What I have found as I am inching ever so close to 30, and I've never been this stressed out about a birthday. Like normally birthdays, you're like, oh, this is exciting, you know. 13, you're like a teenager now. 18, what can you do at 18 anymore? Vote. You can vote. You can vape, I think. Or is that 21? I don't even know. I think vaping's stupid, but that's just me. I'm not going to force it on other people, and I'm not going to deny that other people think it's right or cool. I don't know. 21, you can vote. 25, you can rent a car in a hotel room. That's always exciting. But then after that, it's kind of like, I don't know, like 27, 28. Those were good years. And then there's like 29. And that's where I am right now. And my birthday's in under 2 months. December 29th is my birthday. And I'm going to be turning 30. And for whatever reason, in my head, 30 was like the benchmark that I set for myself to, I don't know, be successful, to retire. Like, as ridiculous as it sounds, you know, we all do it. And I don't even want to hear one person say, like, they haven't set unrealistic expectations for themselves, because we all have. But we think we deserve to have this life. Whatever life we want. We think we deserve it. And we think that just because we work hard or we do something that we're going to achieve that life. And that's not true. It's not. And what I've learned, you know, I got into business because I enjoy doing what I'm doing, and it's really reshaped you know, things over the years with just how the business has evolved. And we've done well. I'm not ashamed of that. But I'm not any happier than I was before. The first year I was in business, where, thank God for my wife for supporting us, I was just as happy. For different reasons, because the business was exciting, I was growing it, and now that the business is up and running and doing fairly well, always room to improve, but I'm just as happy. You go out and you buy a new car and you're happy for a little bit. And then it wears off. You buy that gadget, you buy clothing, you buy a house. You buy the house that you've always wanted. I have not bought the house I've always wanted, by the way. But it's good. You're happy. Then you start finding little things that you wish you could change. And point of the matter is, you don't get your happiness from stuff. You don't get your happiness from money. If you do, it's really empty. Now, when I said I was just as happy as far as the business went, completely true. Where I have found so much joy, and I've mentioned this so many times, I feel like it all comes back to just a couple of main points in life. We've so cluttered life with all of these different thoughts and ideas and methods and programs and curriculums on how to be happy that we've clouded just the few simple things we need to realize in order to be happy. And I think those basic things are, we need our basic needs met, for the most part. It's hard to be happy when you're hungry. It's possible. But you need to be able to have enough of food to eat. You need to have some kind of shelter and clothing and all that. But the thing that I have been really trying to develop over the last year and a half, 2 years, has been relationships. And so reading articles saying how talking to your neighbors is horrible, people aren't nice anymore, and it's all because we have this self-righteous arrogance about ourselves. We don't want to learn about people anymore. For the most part, I love learning about people. I love hearing what they think about things, what their life experiences are. Like, I love that. I could talk to people all day long. I need to get more people on this podcast so I can talk to them. That's a side note. But no one wants to do that. They want to live in this virtual world where they follow people, where they creep on people, but they never grow. And the only thing they're investing in is themselves and their arrogance and their pride. They're getting self-fulfillment out of things that are empty. And I think that explains why so many people are feeling anxious, they're feeling depressed, they're feeling lonely, empty. That's just my opinion. So what do? I would say invest in people. I say this a lot. Invest in people. It doesn't need to be a whole slew of people. You don't need to go out and start going through the phone book and every fifth person just start talking to them. But I don't know. Maybe instead of looking at talking to your neighbors as awful, maybe you start looking at talking to your neighbors as an opportunity. An opportunity to care for someone. We wonder why there's so much hate in this world, and it's because we're hateful people. If we're not loving our neighbor, we're hating them. I don't think there's neutral anymore. I used to think that there was neutral, but I don't think that there's neutral anymore. I think that you either love people or you don't. And if you want to call it hate, you can call it hate, but you either love people or you don't. There's no middle ground. And I don't think by ignoring people, you're loving them. Because you don't even know what they want. So I would challenge you. Talk to people. It's worth the uncomfortable couple of moments to share something with them, to have them share something with you. And I really, really believe that by pouring into people and allowing them to pour into us a little bit, we're going to see a whole lot less hate. Take what they say into consideration. I'm not saying you have to change your entire life because of it, but at least consider why they believe it. Ponder it. Let it sink in a little bit. And I'm sure that you might surprise yourself that we're not all that different. We're all searching for happiness. We just have a couple of different ways of getting there. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed this podcast, I would really encourage you to subscribe. We're coming out with a whole lot of content, including our new video series, Conviction. You can watch it here on our YouTube channel. Subscribe to our YouTube channel, or you can visit us on loveLocalPA.com. And you can become a member. It's absolutely free at this point. And we also have our Great Students podcast, and we're working on the ThoughtSpot series for business owners and marketers to help improve, grow, or just even start to launch their small business. So we're going to be working on that, and we're hoping to bring that out to you early January 2019. But until then, I will see you next week here on the 306 Podcast.